Let's start off with the documents. We are not big fans of heaps and heaps of paperwork and documents that at the end nobody reads. But we like to record and document important stuff. So in order to remember what is important for the project context and for the client, there are several document templates you will be using in the courses. You will find some helpful information about these documents alongside with the course. So far, you need to download them and to take a look at them. So how will you use these documents when working, aside from the courses? Each client has its own context, and therefore the documentation we need to present to them can vary a lot. For example, in certain clients, extensive documentation will be needed because of the regulatory process. In some clients will not ask for documentation at all. In any case, there is some mandatory documentation we will ask you to complete in order to help us establish and think about the context of the client and for reporting to your team lead or to your mentor. The project context document is a required document. The required document means that you will have to complete this document when starting on the new project. This document will be helpful for establishing the project context. It is all about asking questions. It is not about completing replies, you don't know them. So, several persons will participate in this document. So, when you start with the project, you may find that someone already filled some information that will be quite helpful. This doesn't mean you have to take it for granted that everything is there. This just means that some work has been done and you maybe need to ask less questions. So while working on a project, it is important to keep track of the possible context changes of the project and note them down. As you will see, this is not going to be too large document, it just contains key information about the project context. The next, we will have a test strategy document. It is also a required document. So after setting the project context, the next step, the logical step, is to establish a test strategy and, if someone asks for this, a test plan. We prefer test strategy because strategy is something that can be changed and that is not set in stone as maybe test plan is. In some occasions, we will be asked to provide a test plan based on a test strategy. In a project, you can have different test strategies as much as needed. Generally speaking, you can have one high-level test strategy document and a bit more detailed ones covering specific testing tasks. So it is quite good to invest some time in exploring and thinking about a good strategy, but do not let it last forever. Make it quick, make it as a note-taking, and further develop it as you explore and learn more about the project. Strategy means you're ready for a change, and that this possible change is already in your mind when you develop a document. The next one is a test reporting document. Test reporting document is an optional document. During the first weeks or months of your testing assignments, your team lead or your mentor will most probably ask you for some test reports, just to have some tracking about your work and how are you doing. Test reports are about telling a story, about telling a compelling story about how your testing went, which obstacles and interesting information you found along the way. Writing good test reports is not a trivial thing. Therefore, your team lead or mentor will help you develop good reporting skills. On occasions, even our clients will want to have a look at the test reports and even require us to write some test reports. Test reports are not just few words. It requires us to take notes, review our notes, and mentally retest the application and write the test report. Additional to that, we have few helpful documents. These documents are not mandatory in all projects, but someone might ask you to develop them. So we have following three documents. Test techniques document, in which you explain which test techniques you're going to use for testing or which test techniques you used. Issues reporting template. This is a specific template we will use for issues reporting. And test charter document. Additionally, you will find supporting documentation that can include cheat sheets or different similar documents. So let's talk about chartering and issues reporting, as this might be something quite new to many of you. We like to work with test charters instead of test cases. Not all our clients work like this. Someone will want some test cases and others will want to report only bugs. Depends on the context, as we already said. Your test lead or mentor might ask you to prepare this, even although our clients will not ask you for that. This is just for the internal purposes. We will talk about test chartering and issues reporting a lot more in the following courses.